It's Thursday, the 12th day of January 2023. Your Day Weather Podcast brought to you by Cowboy State Daily and WYDOT. When there's ice and snow, take it slow. As we head through the next 5 to 7 days, we're just going to sound like a broken record. We're going to just continue to talk about the same things, but we're going to spend some time today talking about what's going to happen later, because changes are afoot in the long term that will overall have some pretty big impacts. There'll be, generally speaking, a break in the weather across the West today, Friday, and into a good part of Saturday. Warmer temperatures, drier conditions. There's going to be some windy areas. We're still going to have some icy roads and highways, especially across parts of Wyoming along the Interstate 80 corridor. Still problems there, but there's a little bit of a break in the West Coast stormy weather for the Rockies at least, although more storms are going to come onshore into the Pacific Northwest and California. But that moisture will take a couple of days to come through here. So there's more Pacific storms coming. What we get is what we're going to see, and what we have been seeing are the leftovers. Yesterday, it was a pretty good chunk of leftovers for some of you with a pretty wet snowfall for portions of Wyoming, western Nebraska, parts of Colorado. Another high water content snow, which is good to see this time of year. But leftovers are going to come again, so there's going to be some precipitation chances later in the weekend and early next week from the leftovers from the Pacific. But a major pattern change across the entire northern hemisphere is going to take place late next week. And what that's going to do is put an end to the storms coming on to the West Coast one after another. That ends, and we're going to see a colder pattern evolve across the central and parts of the western United States as this pattern shifts gears. Satellite photo this morning looks just like the ones we've been showing you for the last couple of weeks. I am not going to mention the phrase atmospheric river. If I hear that phrase one more time, I may go crazy. These are just a series of storms going across the Pacific Northwest with, yes, a lot of moisture. You can see that right here coming in across the Pacific. You can see the swirling clouds. So it's more of the same. Here's the break, though. The storm is off the coast of California. We have this ridge of high pressure that's going to come on in and give us this little bit of a break in the weather. Yesterday's system that came on through headed towards the Great Lakes, the Midwest, and eventually the East Coast. So there's our break. But these systems are moving rather quickly. We'll beat down that high pressure ridge, and there it is by Saturday morning. So you can see things Saturday shift fairly quickly. And then as we get into Monday morning, we see basically what we've just seen over the last week. Pieces of these storms, what's left, coming through and producing occasional snowfall on the plains, more snow in the mountain areas like we've seen here over the last couple of weeks. This is the precipitation forecast for the lower 48 through Monday afternoon. So you can see the concentration again is along the West Coast, and then that gradient of lighter precipitation as you head east. But as you can see along and east of the divide, there is going to be a little bit of shower activity in the form of snow showers coming over the mountains later this weekend and early next week, while the mountains and west of the divide are going to be most wet, just like what we've been seeing. If we were to focus in a little bit closer, this is what it looks like through Monday. And then this is what the snowfall forecast looks like through Monday as well. So if you're a skier, a snowmobiler, like snow, head up into the high country, but be advised, we haven't mentioned this, we've had avalanches, we've had fatalities. Avalanche dangers are going to remain sky high through the weekend. Now let's talk about what's going to happen later on. We're seeing a lot of things happening. You're not really hearing about it because everything is really focused in on what's going on into California, and for good reason. But I want you to notice, this is a shot of the temperature anomalies. When you look at temperatures at the surface, this is like you're looking from outer space, looking right down on the North Pole. So here's North America here, here's Africa here for points of reference. What I want you to notice, from Greenland here, in this area here, over on the other side of the globe, into portions of northern Siberia, there's going to be an area of very cold air building. You can see it right there. See the purples? You see the green? Well, that is a lot of very cold air that's building, been kind of locked up since our pattern has been so dominated by these strong Pacific jet stream winds. Basically, it's a pattern that just allows a ton of Pacific air to get pushed across North America from the Pacific, which means fairly moderate temperatures. It's been a pretty good January thaw. not only for the United States, but a lot of Europe as well. And when the pattern changes to where these strong Pacific jet stream winds weaken, basically what happens is that we have the opportunity now for all this cold air that's building to make it smooth. Now, look at these temperatures. These are the forecasted temperatures in Siberia by this weekend. You see these purple areas? These are areas right here of minus 60 to minus 70 or more Fahrenheit, and I'm not talking wind chill. Okay, so there is a lot of very cold air over parts of the globe, but the biggest populated areas of the Northern Hemisphere are relatively warm, so it's kind of sneaky. There's a lot of cold air in places, but a lot of folks don't know it's there, but it's there. And as we go further down the road, by next Friday, there's that high pressure ridge developing along the Eastern Pacific. That opens the door to Canada. So this cuts off the Pacific pipeline. It gets cut off from this high pressure ridge. So California dries out. The colder, more stormy weather now directed into the central United States. And this is, as we told you, right around the 20th of the month is when the colder weather really starts to move in. These are the temperature anomalies by next weekend, getting colder. These are the temperature anomalies by the 24th and 25th of January. When you see the purple, 30 degrees or more below the seasonal averages. So if you're 30 degrees or more below average at the end of January, you're cold. So we're going to transition later on, and we see this, the Arctic Oscillation is forecasted to go into a negative phase, and we've shown you the Eastern Pacific Oscillation. I haven't shown it to you for a while because it's been in mostly the positive phase, which has led to the warmer, relatively warmer temperatures. But look what happens right around, here's the 20th and 21st. You see how it's going into the negative phase. So things are lining up for colder weather to return to the United States by the 20th and beyond. After that time frame, California gets a break from the storminess, and we'll be talking more about the cold and more in the way of winter weather conditions for the rest of the U.S. Have yourself a great Thursday. See you tomorrow.